Welcome to the Made in Walker podcast. It's the podcast that connects you to the people, the stories, and the ideas shaping our community. From local innovators to everyday change makers, we're diving deep into what makes Walker a great place to live, work, and grow. Now here's your host, Steve Kelso.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Made in Walker podcast. Joining me today, Mitch Harkema. He is the new Public Relations Manager, Communications Manager for the City of Walker. Mitch, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Nice to be here in your new studio for the first time.
Now, even though this job is new to you, you are not new to the City of Walker. Tell me about that.
That's correct. So I've been with the City of Walker for about 11 and a half years. I started in 2015 as a police officer. Just finished my stint there last Friday, and Monday was my first day as communications manager at City Hall.
This is not a typical route to come into a communications manager role. Generally, we find folks who have, achieved their degrees in communications, but you've been with the city a long time. First of all, what made you interested in this role?
It's funny sometimes how life changes your priorities, piques new interests. Over the past several years on the police department side, I have been doing some of the communications management, information officer type duties. Ran the Facebook page for the Walker Police Department for a number of years. And then when Nicole DiDonato, our former communications manager, came to the city, her and I had a very good working relationship. She was kind of the unofficial cheerleader for the City of Walker. And that included a lot of interdepartmental work, which included working with the police department. So pairing with her on a number of events and engagement opportunities, relations type in the community, I saw a little bit different avenue and really started to dive into that more on the police department side and was like, I really like this and I think I could be good at it. And obviously I do think there's something to be said for the experience within the city, internally with other city departments and out in the community as well. A lot of the groups Nicole had been working on were groups that I was working with on the police department side. So it just seemed like kind of a natural transition for me. And then when the position was finally posted, I had to do some soul searching and conversations with my family, leadership at the police department, leadership at the city, and say, what would this look like? Do you think it would be a great fit for me? And kind of unanimously, personally and professionally, it seemed like this was going to be a great next step for me. And I decided to dive in, and here I am.
I think the two roles actually have a lot in common in as much as they are driven by a desire to serve your community.
Absolutely. So, on the police department side, you see, I did patrol for a few years and community engagement for several after that. And you serve the community in some specific ways as a police officer. But really, when I started getting to that community engagement side, community outreach side, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that gets done, connecting people to resources, making sure the police department has partnerships in the community with different businesses, organizations that may help the department serve the residents better. And I saw those opportunities here on the community engagement, communications, business relations side for City Hall as well. There were a lot of things on the community engagement side for the police department that I was doing that I didn't necessarily have to be a police officer to do. Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned before, so many of those conversations, so many of those relationships are going to be an easy transition for me because they may have known me as Officer Mitch before. They're still going to know me as Manager Mitch now. And I've seen that. This is only my third day in the new role. A lot of the conversations I've had related to some upcoming city events, it's all people and places that I've talked to before. So they're familiar with me. I've worked with them. They've worked with me. And we kind of know what to expect from each other. So it's been very helpful.
Well, in communications, and I would imagine a lot of police work, is a relationship business. And so you have that advantage that you already have forged a lot of those relationships. But you say this is your third day on the job. It really isn't, because you kind of stepped in as interim, didn't you?
I did. So when our former communications manager left in May, there was a gap that needed to be filled. There was some things that we can't lose visibility on. We have the upcoming proposed public safety millage. Those were some things that needed some ownership, and I was asked to step in for some of those duties on the interim, in addition to my police duties. So obviously, I think that helped grease the wheel of kind of seeing what this job may entail for me in a more full-time position if I decided to make that transition. So I was honored to be asked to do that, especially by a new city manager. He really had to put some faith and trust in me to do those things, and truly, I think that's what opened the door for me to make this switch.
You mentioned an upcoming millage. This is a public safety millage that comes before the Walker voters in November, right? I would imagine that this is going to be one of your first challenges as a communications manager for the city. What do you have planned for educating people about this upcoming millage?
We've had a lot of things that have been in the work here for the last few months, and I think as we get closer into September, October time, you're going to see a lot of those efforts ramp up. Throughout the summer, we've had a number of kind of in-person community engagement opportunities. You've seen our chiefs out at the summer concert series. You've seen our police and fire staffs out at block parties, national night out events, with some information and prepared to answer questions that citizens may have on the proposed millage. As we move, into the late summer, early fall, we'll be doing some more of those community engagement opportunities, but we'll also be opening up all 3 fire stations in the police department for open house opportunities where the public can come in. We're pushing information out on our social media channels, on the city website, but I think there's definitely some benefit to opening those up and having people be able to come in and see what we're talking about firsthand, and hear from the folks that work in those buildings for some of the challenges that the current setup.
Absolutely. And to keep up to date on that, I would follow your social media, your website.
Yep. So walker.city, we have a designated webpage offset from it's walker.city/public safety millage. We'll be doing some updates on that soon. You'll see the open house dates on there, but also our social media channels. So City of Walker Facebook page and the Walker Police and Fire Facebook pages as well. A lot of those information, the open house dates, those will be on all those channels as well.
The city of Walker is going through a lot of transition right now. In May, or in November rather, you will lose your mayor. You will have a new mayor. Gary is out, and a lot of your commissioners are term limited. You have a new city manager. How do you rally the troops now? Because you're a manager now, you're going to have to rally those troops and rise to this occasion.
Absolutely. So I look at it as just a great opportunity. As we have new city management, we'll have some new city leadership on the mayor and commission side, some new leadership maybe in new places as well as people are moving around the city. We'll have new IT directors, new human resource directors, all the people that are coming together to provide some of these city events and outreach opportunities that Walker's been known for. And I think it's going to provide a great opportunity for us to all kind of get in a room together and say, okay, what has worked? What isn't working? What can we tweak? Do we need to get rid of things? How can we make things better? It's a great springboard to change. We've seen some of the commentary on social media about what the citizens would like, as far as community events and other engagement opportunities. And I've heard those too, again, on my police department days, being out in the community and talking with folks about the challenges and things in the community. How can we better serve the residents? And as you know, our motto is Walker's a great place to live, work, and grow. We want to keep it a great place to live, work, and grow. And so I will be behind a lot of those communications on social media, business relations. How can we partner with different organizations and community partners to make our events better? And just talking to the residents, I'm a very people-forward person. One of my first jobs was in food service. And I've always looked at, in my police career, I've looked at it as a customer service type mentality like I did when I was in food service. And I'm going to bring that same mentality to the communications manager position as well. As I want to talk to the residents. I want to meet them face to face. I want to see them at these events and hear what they have to say, good, bad, or otherwise. and take that information back to city leadership and see how we can make things better.
In a way, in the 11 and a half years that you've been in Walker, the city has always been in transition because there has been a ton of growth that has taken place in Walker over that period of time. I imagine that'll help inform you and inform the staff of how we navigate these changes.
Yeah, so I've had the benefit over the last decade of having a pretty core group of leadership folks around me at the police department. But we're coming to a time where some of those older officers have retired as well. Unfortunately, we lost our fire chief in May. There's still the fire department. We're still kind of reeling from that. And city leadership is at a turnover time. But the things I've known in that time can help guide me into this transitionary phase as well. And I think my skill set, my knowledge from past years as well can help guide the new folks that are coming in as well. And I'm here to help them in any way that I can.
I don't think the city of Walker suffers from any sort of an identity crisis, that everybody knows who they are, and I think that will help you move forward. What else are you really looking forward to in this new role? When you thought about leaving the police department, there had to be something to really draw you there.
There's, like I said, it just seems like an opportunity for me. I'm 39 years old. And I had to look at it as, do I kind of want to start a new career at this phase of my life? When I was started as a police officer, I was not married. I did not have kids. I did not have a mortgage. All those fun adulting things you have to consider. And I looked at that and I just really asked myself, is this an opportunity that I would regret not at least trying to get in? I would have. And I didn't. I have no regrets of my police department career. I'm so thankful that I ended up at the city of Walker right out of the police academy. Because everything from day one at the police department and the city of Walker level has brought me here over a decade later to give me this new opportunity. Some things that I'm looking forward to. I love being out in the community. I'm still going to be doing that. My hopes is that I'm not in the office very much. The ability to go out and have some freedom to foster new relationships with businesses and organizations and see where the city of Walker might fit into some of the things that they're doing in the community. Those are the things I really love doing. A lot of that ends up behind the scenes, when we see some of the end goals of those at the different events and things like that. But again, just the time period that we're in the city of Walker and the change of leadership, the change of mayor, all those things, that excites me. Some people get very like, "Oh no, change, this is going to be bad." I've never been one to shy away from change in my own life or my professional life as well. So I'm just super excited for that period of time and see where this path is going to lead.
Well, that's great because you got a lot of big changes coming. And again, you've got a lot of big changes that took place in the past, so I think you're probably well prepared for that, and the city's well prepared for that as well. Remind us again where we can find the information on upcoming events to find out more about the upcoming millage.
So first event we have coming up will be Monday evening. It's our first responder ice cream social. We do that annually. Police and fire get together at Double Dip Depot right on Remembrance Road. We'll be there Monday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Police chiefs will be there. Officers and firefighters will be there. So feel free to come out, enjoy some ice cream, ask us questions. That's more of a laid back atmosphere. When we talk about the true millage open houses, those will be decided. The dates and times will be posted on our city social media. So again, for sure, the City of Walker Facebook page, the Walker Police Department Facebook page, the Walker Fire Department Facebook page, and then as well as walker.city, our city website.
All right, very good. He again is Mitch Harkema, and he is the new communications manager for the City of Walker, Michigan. Mitch, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve.
Look forward to a whole bunch more of these conversations and the great work that I'm certain that you're going to be doing for the City of Walker and what's to come for the city.
Me as well, and I look forward to working with you in the future. I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Made in Walker podcast. If you have comments or questions about this podcast, or if you have ideas for future episodes, we would love to hear from you. Please send us an email to podcast@walker.city. Made in Walker is the official podcast for the City of Walker, Michigan. You can find Made in Walker wherever you get your podcasts.